Hello, hello, Rhodey here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're doing another lost video. I had two videos I lost, and this was one of them. This was the one I had for an hour and 15 minutes. I could cry. I was so sad and disgusted with myself. Okay, the theme of the video today is accordion accordion booklets. And they're very easy to make. I'll show you. You can do two in one piece of 12 by 12. You end up having these little pieces that will come out. There's four of them. And you glue a 4 by 6 journal card to them. Now, I could have stenciled or put a coffee dyed paper or something on this. This is one of my old pads I'm trying to kill. So that's what I could have done to cover up all the white. And you can put pockets on the front and the back. That's usual. And I'm just holding it shut because it's not wanting to stay shut. So, I got another piece over here where I'm going to show you the scores and how to make that. Now these, I know I saw this back in the day, like 2021 or something from Scrapbooking with Me. Now this is a Princess Stamperia pack. There's a sheet of cutouts. So there was the princess who was like based on the one in Austria. Here is Katerina or something. I can't remember her name. Here's a beautiful door. We've got some sayings that were on the back of the cover sheet. The gorgeous wallpaper. Oh my God, can you imagine living in riches like this? Okay, here was the inside, which had little tags and a scrap pocket. Some of the ephemera back there. You can see the wainscoting down in there. We have more sayings. We have a piano under the photograph. Now, there's a bigger one of these in one of my other pockets over there. I had a fan left. This was like the last of the kit. So some of this is not from the kit, but most of it is. I have a ribbon with a jewel heart there. Here's a piece of pretty scrap. And I've got Only Do What Your Heart Tells You. And this is another picture of the beautiful princess. And Anna? I can't remember her name. Somebody told me who she was. Now here's my baby tag in a tag, and these are those like photo corner kind of things you do for scrapbooks, I guess. And that's in my little piano. Some more collage of the ephemera. There's a side tuck here, made from the music paper. This paper came from another pad, but you know, it was really pretty, so I had to put it here. Another baby tag and a tag, another saying, and we have a angle side tuck here. I bear a charmed life. And that was part of, I think, the front cover as well, because I had those little pieces left. Now that's part of a pretty door backdrop. This was a piece of ephemera, and so was that. And a belly band with something from another paper pad, but it was old architecture from, I think, over in France. So I put that in here. And then we have this beautiful pocket at the back with her crown on it. I think it's a bird. And it has a pocket on a pocket. So you got a little pocket here in the front and the big pocket behind. That was from another one of my paper pads too. But yeah, that was it. That's how you make it. It's got usually 4 tabs inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that makes up a pretty good hefty little booklet. That's a good size too. Now I had a lilac and laces Stamperia pack. I think it was one of my very first ones. Well, that's where this paper come from. And this is what I think they call a boho bead, like a bohemian bead. It's just a rolled up piece of paper. And I was practicing on how to make that. I love this one because it had the postcards and stuff. I put lace on the cover. And then it's sort of plain. This is just some of the cards, the tags and the journal cards that came in the kit. So I just kind of used what I had left. I actually Frankensteined some pages to make them big enough. There was a belly band with a round, got a round tag in it. And then we had this, which was, I think, part of the back cover. And then here's an interesting pocket where I just tucked down one of the corners. And since it was two-sided, you really got a pretty view. And see, I don't really have that much in here, and this is part of the back cover as well. And that is kind of loud. It really doesn't go with the colors here, but it's in there. And then here's another one. Now, these little, they're called a ribbon crimper. I was going to show you that. You get them in the findings department at the jewelry. And it's just it's a little guy with teeth. Can you see his little teeth? And you'd put a ribbon in there, or a set of ribbons and laces and stuff, and then you just push it down with your pliers. And then it's got that little thing at the top where you can put it on a jump ring or a bulb hook like I've got here. I've got a pink one there I made with actually a breast cancer ribbon with an angel on it. I have all kinds of these ribbons. I was making bracelets at one time, and I just got a ton of them. And I just hooked that one on there with a little tiny paper clip. So it's kind of the same concept. I kind of Frankensteined this one. This had some gorgeous journal cards in it. There's another belly band. Another back of the paper. Another one of those pockets. And that. So they're kind of on the same concept, these three. Yeah. So that was an odd label. I think I was trying to save all those different things that was on there. And yeah, I did have to Frankenstein a few of these pockets, or the journal cards, to make them big enough. Another belly band. And then that's the side tuck. And then that's at the end. Okay, so you got the gist, right? You got the gist. So what we're going to do is we are going to take, and I'm going to bring my measuring thing over here. Okay, this is my Works tool by Memory Keepers. Or we are Memory Keepers. And it came with this kind of a bone folder, and I love it because it's very softly rounded. You're not going to poke through your paper or anything. But it only has a 6-inch score pad. So what you do here is you're going to cut these 12 by 12 in half to go long ways. So then you're going to start, you have to have a 4-inch by 6-inch piece at the front and a 4 by 6 at the back. So you start scoring at 4. So you go, oops, I didn't have it in there straight. So you go 4 and a half, and you go every half. 5 and a half, 6, and then I gotta adjust it this way to go backward. So this would have been 6 and a half, 7 and a half, and 8. So you're going to start scoring at 4 and quit scoring at 8, and it's every half of an inch. And then what you have to do is start folding. And that is not always the easy thing to do. You want to score your front over, and you try to be as straight as you can. It's not always that easy. And then you're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. So you can lay it along a line if you think you need to keep straight that way. But I'll tell you, you cannot always keep these things like it's already off a little bit. But that's just the way they are. Now, if it's easier for you to hold it in your hand, you can do it that way and then lay it down to score. It's just whatever you can do, whatever you need to do to get the job done. Oh, gosh. All right. All right, while I'm doing this, I'm going to do the shout out. I would like to shout out to Caroline at Caroline's Craft Tree. Oh, she has a wonderful Facebook page that's under the same name, and she has a Etsy store and a YouTube channel, and I think they're all under the same name. But she has a wonderful challenge that she puts out once a week, and I was trying to follow it, and I got swamped with other stuff, so I couldn't keep it up this year. But I was faithfully doing it last year. But it really sharpens your mind when you have a challenge like that to do. So I would suggest doing something like that. But back to Carolyn. She is wonderful. She does her own digitals. I actually won my digital one 1 week or 1 month because of posting my my challenge pieces. I won a dragon digital. Well, you get to pick out what you win, but she's very talented. She has beautiful artwork. She does beautiful pieces, and I really suggest you go over and check her out. But I want to thank you, Carolyn, for always being there, always commenting. You got top. You're one of the top commenters, I have to say, for my channel, and I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. All right, that is about what you do. Then what you have to do to close this little guy up is to get in here and glue. And you're going gluing the outside. Now remember, there's 5 points out here and 4 points in there. And you just have to figure out what paper works for you in the direction you're wanting to go in. So all I'm going to do is throw me some glue in all of these. And then I'm going to mash it shut. I'm using my Barely Art, so I got a little bit of extra time. That art glitter glue is a little too fast for me. I like to have a little wiggle room, a little wiggle time. Okay, now I'm going to get it back together like I had it just a minute ago, and try to make sure I'm straight on my corners. And we're going to take the big one and we're going to mash it. This is going to burnish them all together. Ooh, there we go. Go that way with it. Now, if you are not even Steven on your goodies here, you can put a little piece of lace, little piece of ribbon, something over it to hide that. And like here, if you're not straight, you can always get in there and trim it. You've got all these all these different things you can do. You don't have to worry if it doesn't turn out just right. And then if it's just minuscule, like these couple of little things, I can't even see that one. It's just a little hair. There. That's all you do. Now, what I was doing to be different was I was using up my last bunch of Provence Stamperia. And God, that's the part I really hate losing. Because that was my 1:15 video. This was it. This was it. Okay, well, I'm going to do you a little flip through right here. And then I'm going to have to see if I can recreate this for you so much. I don't have the pretty, scenes like and pieces that was left over. I'm just going to use that same pack that I used in my last video. But this has a little Velcro dot. Now that came from Garden. That's my last Stamperia pad, but it had lavender, so I had to use it. I had to have this scene on the front because I love this jar. And when you flip it open, I did stain that a little bit with some of the ink I was using on the edges of stuff. But I've got the white Velcro part over here. Some of this I added after I got off film, so it doesn't matter to you because you're seeing it all at the same time right now. But all of this cleaned out that pack. I have a little bit that was left over. Wasn't much, but I've got it in a glue book over there. I thought I'd show you at the end. But yeah, we put one of the trims here, some of the stuff there. There was another piece of ephemera. And then I thought these beautiful journal cards and tags, they went with this green that was in the leaves. I made a hinge here. That's how that's on here. So I made a hinge out of the word lavender strip. That was just like this. But I put a little bit of a score in there. And then the back, the piece itself, I got all the way around because this was a 12 by 12. But this was a whole lot bigger. So I had this much left of the back. So I had to make do by putting this extra piece on there. So I made a tuck out of it, as you see. So these are 2 more of the journal cards. They're gorgeous. And so they tuck in here. I had another piece of ephemera there. So I made a I made a tuck out of what I had left over. I had to think on my feet. This piece came from the front cover. It was pretty enough to make its own tag. And I made a side tuck here only this far down because I did not want to cover this seam. I really loved that. Oh, gosh, I'm off screen. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I didn't want to lose that seam. So, we have this with a little bit of a die cut here. Or not a die cut. This was from the front cover. They were smaller, and I cut them and utilized them in here. This is an oval tag, or journal card, whatever you want to call it, with this. And they are in this pocket that was like an extra scrap. I've got a butterfly here, a bow there, and another one of the pieces of ephemera decoration there. This was the fun part. Now, this is also only 4 inside, but here I put a little hinge to hinge this one down because they were too small for the whole thing and too big for, you know, whatever. So you can write on these, but that one has a hinge as well. Well, after I put these 2 on here, I still had that piece that was sticking up. It needed something else on there. So I put this piece of trim from the top of this piece on there. I think you've seen this kit before. In a couple of videos I've used it before because I held on to this baby. I wanted Provence forever. I never did use it for anything. When you flip this side, I have this journal card, oval one, in this skinny pocket. Now, I also had to get in here, not that one, but I had to also get in here and put a few strips to hide where you can see the word. You can almost see this word Stamperia there, part of it. So, I had to put those in there to hide it. This humongous... This humongous journal card, I never knew what to do with. But isn't it gorgeous? Wouldn't you just love to sit here in a chair, smell these beautiful violets and things, and look out the window? Oh, have this beautiful old cabinet in front of you. I love that. Oh, so I put this little strip of with lavender on it here to hide that edge. Here's another one of those same papers that I just cut it in half to make 2 pages with it. There's another hiding one. There's another trim. And here is the other one from the front that I just had to have. And this was a piece of ephemera I knew just would make the perfect pocket. And there's a basket of lavender. And then we have the back again. I don't know if I had the back all in focus before, but it's just got the 2 cards. And that's all she wrote. And then the back just has a little bit on it. This was also from the front cover. And this was just an extra piece of ephemera I never really knew what to do with. So I put it back here in case you wanted to write that was your book or something. Or a date or something. Okay, so to make this, we are going to get back into this one. Nature's Garden by Crafter's Companion. Delightful Daisies. I got it at Michael's, as I mentioned in the last video. And I really like it. Now, this is the piece I'm going to go with. And thankfully, they give you 3 of each page. And I made out like a bandit because one of these I got 4. Which one? Oh, it's this one. It's this teal one here. I got 4 of that one. I don't know how it happened, but I got 4. Their loss is my gain, right? Okay, so we're going to pull this apart. And mostly, I'm going to be showing you just how to put this together. I may be putting the pages in there I'll take some pages out of that book. But I won't be able to decorate it because I really don't have anything to decorate it with. But you get the gist, right? We're going to learn how to do this together again. Because I know it's 9 inches high. Is that right? Yeah. It's 9 inches high by 6 inches wide. And I was trying to make it a little bit larger than the other one. So, let's see. Let me get this back in here. We're going to be cutting these down to 9 inches. Whoops. I need to get this out. I thought I would start showing you a little bit more of me cutting and measuring and all that kind of stuff. So you could get the full rounded effect of how I come about things. So we're going to do that. And we're going to cut this one at 9. Because we need this for the back cover. Alright, and these 2 strips, I'm not sure what we'll do with, but we'll set them over here. And I love greens like this. So pretty. This reminds me of us having to paint something in school one time. And it was like, for Annie, get your gun. They were doing a school play. And my cutter leaves little hairballs, so that's what I'm cutting off here. But yeah, Annie, get your gun. So we had to do like a scene, like it was out in the field, on a hillside or something. And we were painting these flowers that were supposed to be dotting the hillside. And what happened was we were painting them too realistic. She goes, no, you just got to put like a white splotch there. And that's about it. She says, because they're sitting so far back, they can't see that. So I always thought that was kind of amazing, you know. Okay, so this is going to be my front cover, which is pretty. It's got, these 2 look like the same butterfly, though. But anyhow, we start at 6, because our front cover and our back cover are 6. So we're going to start right here. And remember, my scoreboard is only 6 inches wide. So what I need to do now is switch this back around, start at 6, and start going every ½ inch. So, and I think there's, is there 8? I think there's 9. Yes, there's 9 scores. So just remember that. Every ½ inch, starting at 6. And then you're going to do 9 of them. All right. Let me get back to counting here, because I know I'm about close. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. So stop at the 2. Go from 6 to 2. Or 2 to 6. However, which way works for you. Now that little piece that's left over down here, that's about 2 inches. That's going to be your tuck. So we can also get on here and cut this to be 6 inches. I think I'll take this last part here, because I got enough butterflies on the front part. And this part I lost because that's where all of the scores and folds of the accordion will be. Okay, so we should be set. Let's put this back over here and let's get our goodies going. May need that again to cut some pages out, but and this is pretty lightweight. This paper is not bad at all. Does it tell me how heavy it is? No. Oh, 180 GSM. Okay, I know a lot of people ask about paperweight and everything, so this is 180. And it doesn't feel like it's much heavier than copy paper to me. It's like a lightweight cardstock. Okay. Enough of that, Rhoda. Enough of that. Okay, let's get to folding. All right. And what is our story going to be today? I did have a little bit to talk about with my granddad. Now, my family, when they moved over here, they did not own anywhere. They were renting. So that is the hardest thing to do, is to try to get dates on where somebody was, when, because the deed is not giving you anything. The only thing I could use is like when people died and where it was, where people were born and where it was, that kind of a thing. That's all I had to use. Now, if it's easier for you, I think you can get in here with a ruler to help you out. Let me get up here where you can see me a little better. But you're always going to be a little crooked. I mean, it's like there, I'm a little crooked. So I'm going to straighten it up by doing that. Yeah, so anyhow, when they got over here, you know, he wanted to get out of the coal mines. So what happened was his brother-in-law, my grandma's brother, had already moved over here. And he was working on this big old ranch, cattle ranch kind of a situation over in Bath County. He had 100 head of cattle he was taking care of, and he had 100 acres of corn. That was the story. So he needed help. So my granddad wanted to get out of that mine. He decided to come over and help him work on this cattle ranch. So I'm trying to straighten this up just a wee tad there. So yeah, he goes and he had built that big old X-shaped house for Grandma. She was just tore up to leave that. But she had to go. She had to go where he wanted to go with all those kids. So anyhow, they pack up, leave the house. They hadn't sold it yet. They just left it. I don't know if they thought they might come back to West Virginia or go back. I don't know what the plan was. I know he wanted to come over here and try this out. So he comes over. They live in tenant houses. Now, I've gotten a picture from somebody that had pictures of the old tenant houses before they tore them down. And the place was called Fort Dinwiddie. Over here, George Washington had came through, and he had forts all along the Jackson River. And I guess they were stockade forts or something against the Indians. I'm not really sure what. There's different highway signs that you can find here and there. I've got actually one for Fort Dinwiddie. So they lived there about a year or two. I'm still trying to figure out all the stories that went along with them coming over, because I heard tales about them coming over on the wagon that came through German Valley, which is up near Harrisonburg somewhere, but over on the West Virginia border. I think it's Pocahontas County or something. I can't understand that, because there was something about Grandma had to throw out some of her items to get it up over this mountain. Sorry, I had to take a drink. So, yeah. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I think, and I'm around these corners, I think what happened was they came over first with the wagon, bringing what household goods and such that they could. And on this trip, it was also a cattle drive. So Grandma's sister's oldest son, he came over to help drive the cattle. So that may be why they were up at Harrisonburg. They were driving these cattle into Harrisonburg somehow. And I'm going to do this corner set too. So we, let's see, how am I going to do this? Let me think a minute. It's hard to tell a story and craft at the same time. I'm telling you. Well, to tell you the truth, that's going to blend right into each other. Rats already rounded that corner too. You know, I might do it that way. It says round all these corners. It doesn't matter. So they got the cattle over here. The one boy said he was never going to go and volunteer for a cattle drive like that again. He said that was hard on a body. All right, let's see. So we are going to glue this in a C glue, I guess you'd call it, along the top, the back side, and the bottom. And I remember from before, it was kind of hard to do. I can't turn it over. I've got to basically do it this way. So I just have to pinch it with my fingers until it sets. So, yeah. They got over here. They got to their destination in Bath County, to Fort Dinwiddie, and got settled into the tenant house. And he started work. with his brother-in-law. And then the Depression hit. I know. They do all that. They move all the way over here, and the Depression hits. Yeah, isn't that something? So, I think at that point, all the cattle disappears. All the corn disappears. And they had to move over the mountain. And they started coming this way, where I ended up living, or where my dad ended up. So that's kind of how it works. Now we're going to get back here and we're going to glue these accordions like we did on the little one. So we'll have our book kind of set from the outside. And so he was a carpenter. So he somehow found out from another person that lived over there in Warm Springs, Bath County. He was a prosperous man. He had a store and a lot of land, and he was pretty well to do. And he let my granddad and family live at this one house, and he was to fix it up, I believe, or work on it. But he also worked at a quarry that he had to work at down the road. Now, I was always under the impression my granddad was poor and all that, but he actually had a vehicle. I don't think he had it once he moved over here, but when he lived in West Virginia, he had a checking account, which surprised the crap out of me, and he had a vehicle that he would take to town and stuff. They would go to church. You know, it's talking to the relatives, you find all this out. My Uncle Fred, he was still alive when I started going around trying to find out all this information. And it just so happens that he was actually in the coal mines with my granddad, because he was the firstborn son. So, and I'm going to have to trim this down because it is really off. I don't know how I got so far off, but don't hesitate to trim. Yeah, so he had a little bit of knowledge, and I didn't ask him enough questions, I can tell you that. Not enough. And you can kick yourself. You got that person right there. I did ask him a lot. It's just, you never know what all to ask them. It just comes down to that. You learn what to ask later on in life, but then it's too late. All right, do I need to trim that? Nope, I think that's good. All right, so we're good. We have our little booklet pretty much set in stone. It's kind of wishy-washy through the spine here, but that can easily be covered with a piece of lace, which a nice white, delicate piece of lace would go beautiful with the daisies. And see, I've got my 4 pieces inside. Now, what we need to do is pick us 4 pieces to be our pages inside. Okay, I picked these 2. I like the one with the dragonflies, and I like this because it's a little lighter and brighter. But I love the colors in this as well. So both of these need to be cut down. This is my bottom. So I got to get my little guy going out here again. And we need to go to, it's a 9-inch tall piece. So I want to cut the pages to be 8 and 3/4. Yeah, we're going to go 8 3/4. Okay, and I'm going to go like that. And then I'm going to go and make them, it's 6 inches wide. So I'm going to go to 5 3/4. We're going to make them just a little bit smaller than what they actually are on the outside edges, What did I say, 5 3/4? Okay, got the pretty little edge for my collection of scraps. Okay, those two are ready. Now, I don't recall where the bottom is on this one. This is a great one. The butterflies are all sticking up that way, so I think this is the bottom. Okay, so that was 8 3/4 for our inside pages. And then 5 3/4 and 5 3/4. I like this side better, so I'm going to flip this to get my 5 3/4. Okay. I had more color on that side, that's why I did that. Okay. So this can go over there. Now, we definitely need to round our edges. So let's get that done. I'm doing a soft round. You know me, I'm allergic to pointy edges. Oh, but yeah. That was one of the places they lived at when Grandma used to dress a chicken. I was telling you that it was called McClung. And I don't even know if it's known by that name anymore. But she would dress a chicken and go down to the local store, and she would give them the chicken, and she could buy staples. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually glue this piece instead of the paper we have. But just try to get close to the outside edge. Yeah, back then I guess you could get a little bit of this and a little bit of that just for dressing out a chicken. I guess nobody else really wanted to do it. Some of those well-to-do people. And it was a pretty well known. And I went too far with the glue again. I did this in the other video that I lost. But yeah, it had a post office there. And so I learned later on that my Uncle Guy, he was the one that could find, he could find the 4-leaf clovers by just looking down. I think I told you that in the last video. So he was actually a mail carrier. And he would go out on horseback and deliver the mail from this little McClung store. Yep. I went too far up here again. There we go. Fix that. Now you can put this in here, and you're going to try to get it even with your previous one behind it. Sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's not. There. And I should have cleaned up my edges on there a little better, but well. Oh well. All right. Yeah. It's so hard to trace when they only rent. Now, there was an old family cemetery over there, too. One of the first sets that came over in my family was Grandma's half-sister, older sister, her and her family. They were the Messers. She married George Washington Messer. I think I talked about him before, getting shot at the rhododendron inn. And then his son shot the sheriff, killed him. Deputy shot the son, wounded him, and he went to prison for about 7 years until they got a petition out that got him out of prison. So they had a family cemetery up there, and it took me forever to find this cemetery. I don't know why, but it just did. It was way back in there. I guess that's where their house was. And it was up on this little rise. There's only 4 graves there. It was George and his wife, whose name was Mary Ellen. She was the Salmons, my grandma's half-sister. And then George's brother, Morgan, is there. And then George and Mary Ellen's son. So, they're all there. They have a head and a footstone, which James Harrison, is, he's a Salmons. He's Grandma's full-blooded brother. He made old headstones. So he made them and took them there. Okay, I found this lace that I got, I think, at Walmart. It's only got one side with the little loopies on it, so that's the side we'll use for the front. But that's just to help us cover our spine back here that's a little wonky. But it's a cream color, so it's a pretty tone to go with this. And we're going to have to get us a little bit of this. And I guess I'm going to do the front first. Maybe I'll do the back. I'm not going to put any directly on the spine. I'm just going to put it on the back and the front cover. That's how I'm going to do it. Put me a little bit of the fabric tack on there. And then I'm going to get my spatula that has special qualities. It's one of those silicone ones. And you can get it in the you can get them in the makeup supply area, and it will it's to put face masks on. That's what mine was. But you can get them at Sally's for next to nothing. I'm not really sure where else I've heard people say they found them. Now, I blotted this so I can get that shine off, because that is a very shallow or delicate lace that you can see through. Now, go around to the front side. Watch, I probably glued it backward. Oh, well. I glued it backward. And I'm only trying to do at least 1/4 of an inch here with the glue. Okay. And I'm going to bring that around and start making it adhere. Yep, did the wrong side, but that's okay. I love fabric tack. It is a little stinky, but other than that, it does great. And this lace will detract them from you having kind of a crooked spine. There we go. And I can kind of do a little dabbing at this end of it. Try to get that off. Okay. Don't need any more of that. And we can trim off our little bit here. If you like the raggedy natural look, you could leave that on. I just like to trim it off. Okay. Now, let's see what else we can do. Okay, I've got a couple of pieces over there. I'm getting ready to print. But I found this ribbon that I thought might look cute coming down through here. It's got little puffies on it. It's a bright cherry yellow. And I'm going to use that. Okay, I got my fabric tack out. I'm going to trim it off right there. And put it away. And put us a little piece right down through the edge here. I thought that would add to it. Okay, just like that. And I'll trim it off later. You can still see the little scalped edge there. I thought that would be kind of a neat addition. Plus I need to use up some of these ribbons. I got them that time at Hobby Lobby. I just kept putting them in the basket. And then I had to change to a cart. It was just that bad. Okay, now I've got some things printing off the printer over here that I think would make a cute topper for on the top of here. And then for pockets inside, because I really didn't have any ephemera for this. As you saw that paper pad, it would all blend together. See how it kind of blends together? You need something to stand out. So let me find this and show you what I've got. Okay, this is Shabby Daisy from the Journal Boat, or the Journal Boater. See, I remember her from another name before she got hacked. The poor thing. All right, I'm really thinking I like that one. Because, see, the brown, it's got the daisy, it's got the brown. All the rest of these can be used as pockets and such, or tags, journal cards inside. But we have to find something as a background to make this stand out. I don't want white, I don't think. A cream wouldn't be bad. And I like the words daisy, daisy, or daisy love over here. So I'm just going to hand cut this one and have it done. I don't know if I wished everybody well, and if everybody was doing well today. It's going to be a nasty day tomorrow. It's supposed to be getting a lot of snow. Now look, I can cover up that one butterfly and that big daisy. What do you think? I still have it way back here. Or I thought I did. Maybe like that. It's still on there, but it doesn't take your eye away. Plus, I don't think you're losing anything by not seeing that. So let me find something to give myself a little bit of a background on that. Okay, I think I'm going with this one. Mostly because I picked that real bright yellow there. But you don't have to have a very big edge on this to make that pop out. See, so I thought that might work really nice. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down first so we know where to cut. Go ahead and put it down. Glue my hand at the same time. Oh my goodness. Me and my husband, we went out the 15th for our meal for Valentine's Day. Went to Red Lobster. He said for me to pick. So that was my pick. I love I really hate that they got rid of my lobster bisque. That was really bad of them. Shame on you, Red Lobster. That was one of my favorites. Me and Mom, we'd go. She'd get the chowder, and I would get the bisque all the time. And now, I guess I usually get a Caesar salad now. I love them too. Boy, they saturated my Caesar with a dressing, though, on this last trip I just did. It was soaking. Might have to trim a little bit more. But there we go. Get over here and see if I can press that down real nice. Yeah. Do I need to trim that little bit off? I don't think so. I wondered about rounding the edges, but I guess I don't really need to do that either. Now, to be interesting, I could make a pocket. Do I have anything up here that might go in that pocket? Otherwise, I don't need it. That won't go. No, I don't need it. We'll just go straight down. I always like to think of where I could have extra journaling, because there's no journaling on this type of paper. Usually you like to find one that's got a plain background, a neutral background, something along those lines. I just got glue all over my finger again. Okay, so we're going to meet this corner. Just like that. And rub it in. Okay. I think that makes a nice front. Now what we're going to do next is go in here and see what we want on the inside. We have a pocket that we can make out of that one, definitely. And I can use all these words in here somewhere. The sad thing about my grandpa was, you know, he wanted to get out of the coal mines. That was the main reason he left West Virginia. He gets over here, and not long after they started moving toward Augusta County, where I am, he went to work at this quarry, and this young guy that worked with him called in sick. Is what I've heard. This is part of the story. But he called in sick, so Grandpa was doing all the work. And he did something to himself. He really hurt his insides somehow. I know he had nephritis. That's something to do with your kidneys. And he had, you know, myocarditis. So I know he worked himself to death. So it was so sad. He gets over here to a new life, and then that happens. Alright, I like that. And we can take this pretty little teal card and put in there. I would use my chomper on it, but the thing is, this has not got straight lines on it. You gotta really get in there to get to the straight lines. Alright. Have you ever heard of ASMR? I can't remember what that stands for, but it's like when people love to hear scissors cutting and sounds of crafting, I suppose. Things like that. So there are some people that do videos only with that. They only do that type of crafting. We have something we can put on the back side of here. That little yellow there looks good. Plus I have this other yellow. Hang on. Yeah, we'll do the little postcard. I think I have another background so I can use that other one there. I've often wondered about doing the ASMR things. But y'all like to hear my stories. Oh, I need to start me a list of stories. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to ink this or not. Just kiss it. Okay, that's good. Now, yeah, I think I was talking about pillow crowns on one of my videos with you guys. And I didn't have my picture up as yet to show you. So I have that today. So you will get to see what a pillow crown looks like. If you were curious and hadn't got a chance to look that up yet. It's quite odd. And like I said, it's one of those Appalachia traditions. I'm supposing my grandfather didn't have that tradition. So it definitely came from my grandmother's side of the family. Okay. We're just working away here. I think that teal pretty color goes in there nicely. And let's go ahead and cut this one out. These little girls are so pretty. I really love that one. I've used her in quite a few different projects. And I first saw her on the Scrapbooking with Me. I know it sounds like I'm promoting them lately, but it's like full circle. I didn't watch them for the longest time. And now, I'm going back to them, or I'm going back to their items. I'm off screen, I'm sorry. To their items that they've shown in the past. And it's really interesting. It's like you go full circle and relive some of the items that you learned in the past. And I've seen a lot of people do that too on videos. They'll start doing something that somebody did 3, 4, 5 years ago and bring it back to life, you know. All right, we got some words here. I'm trying to think if I want to use, I think I'll use Dream on this paper right here in front of me. Yeah. Let me cut it a little better. All right. That'll be pretty. So even if you don't have paper that you can write on, you can actually do pockets that will hold things you can write on. So you've got different ways to do that. Now I could put Hope up there. Or should I put it further back? We'll hold it. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how much snow we're going to get. Let me put Hope right here. Whenever they call for it, it's like you don't know what to expect, because half hour down the line, they changed their mind. I know it was really windy here last night. Now, you could always get in here and backdrop these words with another color to try to pull them out if you want. But I kind of like the subtle look here. See if I can get those cutoffs there off here. What do we want on this page? I think I like this raggedy looking one. I don't know how to cut this out, so I'm not going to even try. I'm going to just cut around it and ink it. Yep, that'll do the trick. And here, cut a little wedgy look here at the top. There we go. Let me ink around it just a tad so that white disappears. And what we're going to do is probably make a pocket with it. Or side tuck. We'll make a side tuck. So I'm only going to glue this side and the bottom. So it's going to be right here. Like that. So when you do a side tuck like this, it's so easy to get a large item in there. So, you know, I can come back and do something even bigger, like maybe something like, no, it's got pinks in it, or something like this with the birdies. Yeah, like that. See, that'll tuck in there so easy. It actually goes pretty good with that, but I'll have to see. Tommy sent me those, and I got to see if they hold on to them until I figure out what I really want to use them with. Okay. Next, I guess it's going to be this one. There's a lot of teal on this page. Okay. I am a fan of teal. I think it's such a pretty color. I know when they used to have the thing about Romeo and Juliet, you know, Romeo was from the Montagues, and I remember learning that their family had the cool colors. You know, they weren't very hot-headed or whatever. So anytime you saw somebody with the blues, the greens, the purples, the teals, that was a Montague. Then Juliet, her family was the hot-headed ones. Of course, Paris, you know, he was definitely hot-headed. So you had oranges, you had reds, things like that. When you saw that family, you know to look out. Okay, always go to the side to dump my piece of paper. It's a habit I can't get out of. So that little girl could go in there. She'll peek out at you. We have Daisy and Love. So let's put Daisy's definitely going on the front. I guess I could put Love up there too, but I'm not going to worry about that. We'll get this ready to go up there. It's ready to go. And then we'll cut this one down. Yeah, usually you like to have a pretty little book to look at. Something to calm you down or to bring a smile to your face. Something like that. So that might be what this could be. If you was to make this for somebody, give it to them for a little notebook of sorts, or a little book to put their thoughts in. Because these pages here on the back side, you can write on them as well. Okay. I'm going back up here and putting my Daisy. I'll put him up there at the very top. I think I might want something under him. Hang on. Okay, I found a little bit of blue in my scraps. That looks great. It looks great. Because, see, I've got blue in the butterfly. I got little hints of blue there. So that's going to pull that out just enough for you to notice it. There we go. Put it right at the top. Like it's a header. Okay. All right, we have 4 pieces left. Let's see what we need at the back side here. We did have a place for a tuck there. I haven't really thought about what to do there. I have this back here. This little girl would be perfect right there. Let's do that. And she just makes it. Okay, try to get her right dead center. And make sure she's not blocking my seam. Alright, so this can be a piece where a really large something goes in. But this here would make a perfect pocket. If I don't get the glue too far in. Okay. Has a little bit of blue on it. So that's perfect. A little bit of blue. So we're going to put this pretty daisy there, sticking out. Now I need to put him somewhere. I love this one. It's got little daisies on it. Did we really have it anywhere? Nope. 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 I got enough butterflies. I might stick it there. Or maybe up there. That might be a good spot. Let's do that. Why not have a bunch hitch at the very beginning? Yes. Get loaded with daisies early on. Yeah, this is just going to be a glued down piece for pretty. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right. Let's see. What did we have left to do? We may be done. So I need to show you my glue book that I was working on. And then we'll do a last flip through of that. This is where I had a bunch of just pieces from that, the purple journal, when I did it the other day and finished it off. And this was like what little bit I had left over, but it really went a long way. So here's my glue book. So what this is just a magazine, just a cheap magazine, and I'm gluing down what I can. I'm going every which way, but I try to use a certain scheme of colors. Teals, purples, blues, some greens, and I went through my little, scrap bin over there, and I haven't gone through that yet. This was just what was piled up on my thing, and I started working on the back. So the back is usually where you put neutrals. This isn't very neutral because you're supposed to be able to write on it, but I think you still could. I haven't finished it, so this part has not been finished. I need to dig in my thing. But I had more front stuff than I had back stuff, because here's another front. I need to do the back for it. Here's another front. And I started this one, and I kind of went like in an L design on this one, because I had more strips than I had anything, because it was the leftovers. So that's what I'm starting to do. Now, if you're thinking, what do I do with that? Gail does this all the time. Gail Augustinelli. This is where you have these big focal kind of points that's left over, cutouts like this and like that and things. I didn't have that many. A little bit of that. But you're going to cut journal cards out of this or tags, whichever you want. And you just use an empty or an unused magazine, and you just keep covering it. Now, this is really nice and thick. It's like a regular cardstock weight that you would print off a digital one. So, anyhow, that's a good thing to start doing. I have never done it yet. This is the first. So, I have really nothing else to show you except the pillow crown.